Welcome to BCB Live. Yes, we are that safest station in the nation. Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You have your favorite here, as always, Sir Rick, and joining me, yes, my sidekick, it's Drive Safe Dave. Drive Safe.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great, wonderful, and safe day. And yes, I'm glad you're here, Sir Rick, every now and then.
So what's the deal? Are you 12'6"? What's going on with
No, that's the clearance. You know, we talk about it. We got the clearance road signs out there for everybody looking. It's always, we're always looking ahead. We're always looking back. We're looking down. But we also got to look up, make sure that we're clear where we're going, right?
12'6" means you take the bridge in the middle, right? Air the tires a little bit and just go right through it because you may make it. Drive safe.
Or you might make it, but you might be a little shorter on the other side, right? You might just shave off.
All right, Drive, many years over the road driving. Did you ever top a trailer?
No.
Ever?
Never topped the trailer. No, I never did top it.
The guy's pretty good. I'm going to tell you that.
No,
he doesn't run in snow. We all have heard those stories right there. 1/8 of an inch of snow, he's pulling over for 3 or 4 months.
Safe is safe, sir.
I will not argue with that. Drive safe, Dave. All right, so a lot of things we're going to talk about today. Nothing more important. Sorry about that. Nothing more important than safety. But we're going to talk about a few more things. Drive safe.
Oh, yeah, we got some stuff.
Before we do that, Dave, it is hump day, right? It is hump day. Sir Rick, I'm just dragging a little bit today, Dave. I need a little help from you. I need y'all to get behind this guy to make today a little bit more special for me. Drive safe, Dave. Dave, let's go to a commercial break. But first, I need to see some dancing to Ladies Night. Let's go. We'll be right back with more Ladies Night in about a minute. More on BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation. Be right back.
Dude, All right. Hey, check it out. Here we are live right here in Mansfield, Texas, our BCB Live studio. What I really love about this place right now are the endless opportunities, the endless ways that you can use this studio.
Hey, welcome back to the 2023 Pickle Parade.
BCB Live, we started out really focused on that transportation, that trucking only, talking about safety, making sure that we're giving that story about safety. We have the ability to do interviews, social media content, sales opportunities. What are you showcasing? What are you doing today that you've got to get that out? Welcome back to BCB Live. You heard some trade secrets there. I'll just make up the news as we get going. That's what you get here on BCB Live, though, Drive Safe.
Sometimes it's the best way, right? Sometimes it's the best way. If you've read some of the news lately, you probably need to make up.
All right, so Drive Safe. Today on Big Deal or Not, GM. You got a little problem going on with their autonomous vehicle. It's not registering. It's struggling to see the pedestrians, right? It's struggling seeing pedestrians. Is that a big deal or not? Drive Safe, Dave.
Big deal. Why would this not be a big deal? We're talking about children in the crosswalk. We're talking about children in the crosswalk. It shows green.
He's greened up. Keep going, sir.
But big deal. It is our children in the crosswalk. It is our people in the crosswalk. So at the school zones, we just go ahead and roll it. I mean, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm right with you, Drive Safe, Dave.
They got to be right.
So here's the deal, and if the government's calling these in, because they don't have to share all this information,
right,
but if they're looking at this information, my big struggle is if this little car right here, Dave, is going to struggle seeing humans, what about the big truck?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not just talking, and we're talking about in a marked crosswalk. We're not
For
talking
sure.
about between two trucks in a parking lot. We're not talking about walking around at customers. We're talking about dangerous situations with the trucks, where the autonomous vehicles are hard to identify pedestrians as a danger.
Yeah, and so we spent a lot of time with talking about the autonomous vehicles, Dave. The big truck. Can it stop as fast as this car? Any difference in how they stop? Any difference on what they're doing out there on the road today, Dave, and how they stop as opposed to this?
there's a lot more weight. I mean, this vehicle weighs probably about 3,500 pounds total max. Maximum gross weight of the average truck out there is 80,000 pounds. And you know what? This is in perfect weather conditions, right? Imagine what it's like in non-perfect weather conditions when you're out there on the road and the road's a little bit wet or a little bit slippier. You're talking about not slip stopping at all, and that kind of truck would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Dave, and this isn't even where we're going with this, but I'm going to go in there now because it's important. You know, so when Dave's talking about the rain conditions or the snow or the fog or traffic or not traffic or schools in session or not in session, Dave, it goes to one thing, and that's, you know, what's going on around you. Situational awareness. The most important thing you're going to do out there on the road today is understand what's going on right now. Because, Dave, what happened right now is a different situation than another mile from now.
Absolutely. It changes from moment to moment. In fact, in the blink of an eye, that's what a moment is. It's a second. It can change in every situation, every time, every moment. You got to be prepared. You got to stay focused. You got to watch what's going on out there. I'm telling you, this stuff, the reason they're calling these back is there's a problem. And we got to make sure that, and we don't want a problem with you. We don't want a problem with the autonomous truck. We don't ever want you to have a problem in the flying pedestrians out there on the road.
And Dave, we're going to stay with this for a second because I just can feel this today. So the driver that's out there right now, right? You're out there right now, you're driving, and you're just checking a text message, Dave. I'm just looking at it for a second. I put my phone back down. That's okay, right? It's okay to be on your phone, look at it, maybe watch a movie for a second or two, or look at an ESPN highlight. Dave, is that okay as you're driving that truck?
No, look, I want you to understand the dangerous side. 1/4 of every accident on the road is caused by a distracted driver. One out of every 4 fatalities that you read about today is caused by a distracted driver for whatever reason that could be. And whatever it is, whatever you have going on, it is somebody not paying attention or didn't see it. That's the big thing everybody says is I never saw them, or I didn't see it coming, or I don't. The reason they did is because they weren't watching.
Yeah, I mean, everything you're doing today, right now, it makes a difference. You know, I need my kids to get back home just like you need yours. That our job, Dave, today, as we're out there driving the trucks today, we have the hottest load in the history. Let me tell you something. There's nothing more important than getting home and allowing those pedestrians on the roadway to get home to see their family. That load, it's not the same thing. Life is what we do out there on the highway. That's right. Dave, life is a highway.
You're going to start breaking out into song in just a second. Look, we joke about it, we kid about it, but it is very serious, very real. And what we want you to do is continue to mindset. Look, if you talked on the phone earlier, put it down. If you did it this morning and you texted, just put it down, put it away. Understand that it was dangerous. Just change it from today going forward. Anything you can do to make it better, to make it safer, I'm in for that.
Yep.
I know it's a big step. I know it's a big process. You guys are behind the wheel for 10 hours a day. There's a lot going on. Life gets in the way. Pull over. Get the Pepsi, get the hot dog, and then get on the phone and do what you got to do. But make sure that you stay focused when that truck is moving.
Yeah, safety's the decision you're making right now. Put the phone down. Right now, put it down. And then later on, when you decide to pick it back up, hey, remind yourself that, no, it's not who I am today. And put it back down. Drive safe, Dave. We're going to go to a commercial. We do have freight and review. We still have weather to go to. Quick break. We'll be right back with more BCB Live.
Station in the nation.
Rick Larkin here, host of BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. If you don't already know about Freight and Review, it's a segment I cover once a week where I analyze freight rejections, freight tenders, driver productivity, and much, much more. You can watch Freight and Review on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live. Rick Larkin here, host of BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. If you don't already know about Freight and Review, it's a segment I cover once a week where I analyze freight rejections, freight tenders, driver productivity, and much, much more. You can watch Freight and Review on LinkedIn. Back to BCB Live, Drive Safe Dave. We're going to talk a little Freight and Review today. The market continues to change, and the importance of what we do this with you today is because when the market is in your favor, we're going to let you know.
Right.
And Dave, right now, let's face it, at the end of the day, if you're at a company right now that you're getting home with, if you're at a company right now that's getting you a paycheck, and somebody else calls you today, Dave, and says, man, I can get you 4,000 miles. They're probably lying. This is not the market, Dave. One of the craziest freight markets we've seen.
Yeah, look, we've gone from the most extreme high I think I've ever seen in my life to now we're down, gone to some of the lows, and we're going around, and we're kind of doing this little thing on the bottom, and it is something that we got to watch, we got to monitor, and we got to pay attention to every day.
Yeah, so when we look at the volume today, just a little bit under 11,000 shipments a day, and I know for those of you that watch this, you know what that means, that it doesn't sound like it's that bad, but the volume still is considerably lower than it was a year ago. Yep. And Dave, aside from that, we're seeing 3% of that freight, of decent freight, nothing crazy, only 3% of that freight's being rejected, which means that if you're an independent contractor out there, you are living you're not going to make it, Dave. We've been saying that for a while. It is a hard struggle right now. You've got to stick with a big company right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be protected by their not
their
only
fuel
their
discounts,
insurance, and also
freight
customers, right? So you have that opportunity, and you want to be protected by them. But let's talk about that, because we talk about freight volume out there, Sir Rick, and when it was really high and we were rejecting really high, the market was crazy and everybody was making a lot of money. Well, the freight's low and they're rejecting low. That means there's too many trucks bidding for the same freight. Too many trucks bidding for the same load.
Yeah, and when that happens, when that market goes to that spot market, so those of you that live with brokers out there, you understand that while you go out there and ask for a load right now, it's paying $1.50 less than it was a year ago, $1.20 a mile less than it was. And Dave, when freight is not getting rejected, that means all the brokers are fighting over that right there. They're just lowering the rate down and lowering the rate down. If that's what you're depending on, and Dave, that's why we talk about sticking with the bigger customers, or the bigger carriers, I should say, as an IC, is because they have freight. They have those relationships. And Dave, it is important right now as an independent contractor or a company driver, hey, to protect service too.
Yeah, if you're out there and you understand what the volatility of the market is, they are watching their service way more than they ever have before. They weren't watching it. They weren't watching it a year and a half ago. No. They just, hey, do you have a truck this week?
Oh yeah, no, for sure, right? Different animal.
Hey, your truck's 2 minutes late.
Yeah. Reefer side of the freight. The reefer continues to be decent. Nothing what it was a year and a half ago, but we are seeing an uptick in the rejections, Dave, at 6.99. So if you have a reefer right now, your rates are going up a tad bit. Nothing crazy, okay? Because remember, 7% of rejected freight on just a decent amount of freight isn't all that much freight. You are also getting squeezed out there. Make sure you know your market. Again, service your customers on these things, Dave.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I've really positive impact over the last few weeks is a slight increase in fuel. I mean, a slight decrease in the price of fuel. But it hasn't been a lot.
No, not enough to make a living on. We're going to go real quick before we go to the weather, Dave. Here we go right now. The contracted rates, they have seemed to kind of leveled off. That's good news for the carriers with customers, that it has leveled off. And again, this is just kind of straight across the pricing across the country. But when we see that 235 to 238, 240 range, it is hanging in there, Dave. So that tells me that in the bid season that we may have leveled off on the freight side. I feel comfortable with that. And Dave, as well, we see the same thing on the spot market side, leveled off as well at $1.50 though.
Yeah, and even as we moved into the new quarter, I truly believe this is kind of where we're at, and as we're moving forward. But you know what, Rick? Let's talk a little bit. We got it coming up. What do you think about peak season? Where do you think? Where are we at?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to see a peak season. We didn't see much of one last year. We'll see less of a peak season again this year. So for you, again, hey, plan on this right now. Make sure that you're doing all you can to save that money, whether you're a company owner operator. As a company driver, Dave, let's talk about that, because it does talk to this right here. As a company driver, you may not go, I don't go north of Kansas. You may want to change that up right now. Help your trucking company out, because right now we are all looking for freight. We're doing all we can to open up certain lanes. You may have to stay out a little bit later. Yeah. You may have to go places that you've never gone to before, because we are in those unprecedented times, and your trucking company, let me tell you, they need you to participate in this.
Yeah, and I'm just going to, as you look across the country, and I know you venture out, believe it or not, in those other states, those roads are paved too. And it's a shocker for you. Those roads are actually paved, and some of those people are nice. So you just got to make sure that you get out there and understand, work with your people, work with your company, and work with them and tell them, hey, maybe I do need to stay out 2 weeks instead of every week, and then, or whatever it is you do. But work with your company, understand what the market's doing.
Yep.
The market is volatile right now, crazy, and everybody's getting squeezed. Everybody's getting
No,
squeezed.
everybody is on that day. We talked about fuel. Here's the fuel pricing. We've just seen it just cruise all the way back up to $4.49, $4.50 a gallon with spot market pricing as low as it is. That's why the independent contractor is struggling. Let's face it, it's not just the independent contractor, it's every company out there. J.B. Hunt released their earnings yesterday. Not the greatest quarter in the history, right? You know, so it's just a tough time right now. We as an industry, listen, we got to do it safe and we have to work together, doing things to create success for that trucking company. Dave, speaking of success, weather plays a big part of that. Let's talk weather here, maybe. Here we go.
All right, let's do it. Let's go weather real fast.
I think weather's done for the day. Do we have weather, producer?
I will tell you that across the country,
there we go.
Look, we got a warming trend. We got a warming trend in the south. I tell you what, it's going to be pretty in most of the country. We're hoping for a little bit of rain in the south, but across the country, you're going to see mild temperatures today and tomorrow. And after that, Turk, as we get close to the weekend, it's going to be changing a little bit. We'll report a little bit more on that tomorrow, right here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Stay safe.
Bye, everybody.